Welcome to the Simply Vegan podcast with me, Holly Johnson, and my co-host, Gabriella Clark. Each week we discuss the latest vegan news, taste test new products, and chat to some of the leading names in veganism. Hi everyone, you're listening to the Simply Vegan podcast. We thought we'd kick off this episode by bringing you some good news. It's the 2nd of February that we go live with this episode, and we've all had a bit of a bleak January, haven't we, Gabs?
A little bit bleak, to say the least. It's been the longest January on record, and January is notoriously long anyway.
It is, yeah. We've not been able to sort of see friends or family or go out for dinner or anything like that. So it's dragged on a little bit, hasn't it? And I'm for one, I'm very happy that it's February. So the first piece of good news is some research from Holland Barrett that says 43% of vegans say they've noticed a boost to their energy after adopting a vegan lifestyle, with more than 1/3 saying they noticed this within the first month. So this first piece, this first set of results, did you find that, Gabriella?
Yeah, I definitely noticed within the first, say, 6 weeks of going vegan, I could very tangibly notice a difference for sure. And for me, the benefits didn't stop at 6 weeks. I started to notice my skin just kept improving, or my energy levels kept peaking. So yeah, the positive effects came quickly, but they kept on coming, which is great. So I'm not surprised, but very happy to see this in the research.
Yeah, 47% of vegans say they noticed glowing or cleared up skin after adopting a vegan lifestyle, with more than a quarter saying they noticed this within the first month. They've lost weight. 48% said they lost weight. 28% of vegans say they noticed an increase in libido, which is topical. We were chatting about this last week, weren't we, with the interview with Pamela Anderson on Good Morning Britain.
Yeah, it seems to be the new slogan for veganism. Increase libido, which hey, can only be a good thing. So
exactly.
Yeah, but it's getting a lot of airtime at the moment.
It is. So yes, so many benefits. And yeah, great to see it kind of, in the mainstream media again. I mean, I definitely noticed the energy thing. My skin took quite a while, actually. I've sort of suffered with rosacea, which I think I've worked out it's due to kind of stress and hormones. But
yeah,
for me, it took quite a while. I'd say maybe a year to start noticing difference. Wow. But then, yeah, it's different for everyone, isn't it? And I think for some people, for example, if you suffer from acne, dairy can really sort of fuel that. So I think, perhaps if you're just cutting out dairy, then that would, clear things up a bit quicker.
Mine was more eczema related, and again, I definitely had a very mild case of eczema, so lucky not to suffer in the way that some people do, but it cleared that up very quickly for me. I think it's just nice, isn't it, to read about all of the positive benefits of being vegan, and tangible positive benefits, because it's, as a vegan, you live them, you feel better, you have more energy, your skin is brighter, but often you're fighting against, well, where do you get your protein from? And you're deficient in B12, or you're deficient in iodine. And there's so many times I felt like I'm battling against what the negatives to a vegan diet are. So it's lovely to see such a comprehensive bit of research that sings the praises of a really healthy and fulfilling diet.
Definitely. The other piece of research that's sort of hit our inbox this week is that nearly half of meat-eating Brits feel pressured to go meat-free. And this kind of divided us a bit, didn't it? We kind of couldn't decide how we felt about it. 23% said their friends are most likely to be behind the pressure to buy into things like Veganuary and meat-free Mondays, along with partners and parents. Of those who've cut down their meat intake, 57% only did it to keep their partner happy. And 77% have managed to make it through the entire month in previous years. The rest only lasted until January the 13th.
Unlucky for some.
Yeah. So yeah, should people feel pressured to go meat free or at least cut down?
Do you know what? I think it's hard. I think we should all be feeling a certain pressure to be reducing our impact on the environment, but I think it's key where this pressure comes from. And I think that's where things like government bodies or governments and the media that we consume are responsible for educating people on just how much of an impact their diet can have on the planet. I think if it's coming from friends or family, for me, that's a bit more of a grey area, and I think the results speak for themselves. If you're going into it just because you've been pressured by your partner, you're not really going to stick to it. It feels like a punishment or something that you're doing, just another diet that you're not going to enjoy. So I think if you're feeling aware that you need to take those steps to reduce your impact, great. But if you're just feeling like it's being forced upon you by other people, then I just don't think it's going to have a lasting impact, and in the long run it's not great for anyone.
It's a tough one. I mean, I have been guilty of pressurizing my husband, because obviously it's something I'm so passionate about, especially with my job. Yeah, I mean, perhaps we should just be leading by example, cooking people amazing meals. I mean, obviously at the moment we can't necessarily have people around for dinner parties, but just kind of, just quietly showcasing how fulfilling a vegan diet can be, rather than trying to kind of persuade people. But it is difficult, like you say. It's the environmental side of things. Like it's sort of like saying, people feel pressurized to recycle. Well, yes, they should. And okay, maybe not going meat free, but I think people should feel a little bit of pressure to to cut down at the very least.
It's finding that balance, isn't it? It's about everyone being aware that we have no choice but to start taking some responsibility. And like you say, people should feel the need to see where they can make positive changes, in the same way recycling is now part of pretty much every household in the UK, I would say. It's not necessarily needs to be the pressure to go 100% vegan, and I say that as somebody who is 100% vegan, loves it, thinks it's the best thing I've ever done. But I think the more it's forced onto people, the less positive results you'll see from that.
I mean, the other kind of side to things is health. Would I pressure a partner or a loved one to stop smoking? Yes, I would, and I do. I mean, my dad smokes, and I'm always telling him to stop smoking. Well, processed meats, we know, if you just go to the Cancer Research UK website, you can see a chart there that puts processed meats in the same category as smoking, when it comes to cancer risk. So should I be persuading people I love to stop eating ham or bacon or sausages or pepperoni? I kind of feel like I want to, because I don't want anyone to get cancer and die.
I think it's also how appealing the alternative looks. And like you say, leading by example is probably the strongest way that can be achieved. And research like the ones we've just discussed from Holland and Barrett that talks about the positives really helps strengthen the argument. I think unfortunately for a lot of people, maybe the vegan brand, shall we say, or brand of vegans has had a pretty bad rep so far, either of being very pushy, or it's a really boring diet, or it's really restrictive, or when you go out you've got nothing to eat. So the more positivity around the movement in terms of what it can bring for you, health wise, lifestyle wise, fulfillment, I think that's enough of a gentle persuasion rather than forcing and guilt tripping people into it, personally.
Yeah, you're a better person than me. Better partner. Well, Gabriella, you are a glowing walking advert for veganism. I mean, you are just beautiful. So,
Holly, that's very kind, as are you. I mean, it's we definitely don't have a face for podcast, shall we put it that way?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty haggard right now. It's January. I'm pale. I haven't had my hair cut in weeks and weeks.
I was going to say glowing's definitely not an adjective I'd use to describe myself. Grey, lacking vitamin D.
Ship us off to Australia. We'll quarantine for 2 weeks and then just, sun ourselves on the beach.
Our days will come. Our days will come.
Oh, I hope so. So anyway, our review for this week. So we were very kindly sent the new vegan macarons from Ladurée. It's a vegan gift box of 8 that's £21.50 and available in their UK stores and for nationwide delivery from ladurée.co.uk. The flavours were Peruvian chocolate and coconut caramel. They've also launched a vegan chocolate coconut cake, which we haven't tried. But what did you think of the gift box?
I thought it was beautiful, really beautifully presented. Typical Ladurée, beautiful pale mint green branding. Felt like a really special gift to receive. Definitely a lovely gift to send. As you say, £21.50 for 8 macarons is a little bit on the pricier side, but if you're looking for a kind of a special thoughtful gift, then definitely an option. And beyond that, my goodness, were they delicious.
It's great for Valentine's, isn't it?
Or Mother's Day, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I haven't allowed myself to think beyond February at the moment. Oh yes, March. I love the coconut caramel flavor. That was my favorite. That was really nice. They're sort of slightly crispy, but sort of just melt in your mouth, don't they?
Yeah, very delicate and light when you take them out of the packaging, but then when you're actually enjoying them, they almost had like a chewier caramelly flavor and texture to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anybody would struggle to recognize the difference between vegan and non-vegan. I certainly thought they were absolutely delicious, and whilst it's been a while since I obviously had a dairy macaron, for me there was just no compromise in flavor, in texture at all.
So moving on, another thing that I tried recently was the a little while ago actually, the Tofu Co. Launched a new flavor range. So they've got naked, they've now got smoked and teriyaki flavors, and they're all organic. And what I love about these is they're not in too much water. Some brands they're just soaked and it takes forever to kind of get all the water out. These are fairly firm and dry already. I really like the smoke one. As I said a few episodes ago, I've become a bit obsessed with things being smoked. I don't know why. And the teriyaki was nice, something a little bit different. So have you tried these ones, Gabriella?
Yeah, so I'm yet to try the smoked one, but I have tried the naked version and the teriyaki, and yeah, totally agree. They're not in too much water and they're already quite firm, which makes them really versatile. Um, so certainly with the teriyaki, because it already had that sort of flavor and still had that firmness, we used it in things like ramen, or a hot kind of noodle dish. Huge fans of using the naked one for scramble or roasting it. So I think they're really versatile, and bringing out these extra flavors is great, because one of the most known things about tofu is that it actually tastes of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So having that pre-flavored there as, for me, a base, I think you still need to add stuff to it, is great.
Yeah, they've also got some crispy southern fried bites. Tofu with taste is their tagline. Wholemeal chunkies and spicy sweet chili bites. So yeah, they've got loads in their range now. I actually did. It was my mother-in-law's birthday yesterday, so we decided to have a little sort of Chinese party on Zoom, sort
Nice.
of dinner party. And we were going to order Chinese, and when you just don't really feel like, kind of, sometimes it's quite oily, isn't it, and not, quite sort of laden with salt. So I thought, right, I'm going to make it myself. So yeah, we did, and I'm not saying this is amazingly healthy either, but we did sweet and sour tofu, which I've never done before, and it did have
Delicious.
4 tablespoons of sugar in, brown sugar. But yeah, it was really good. It was sort of old school. Do you remember, like, having, with the peppers and the onion and carrot? It was really nice.
Pineapple.
Yes, yeah, with pineapple, fresh pineapple. Yeah, so that was lovely, and did it with sort of fried rice with peas. So yeah, that was a
Nice.
hit with everybody. Yeah, so this tofu is just so versatile, and it's only this last year I've really sort of got into using it. I think there's just so many things you can do, and this used corn flour to kind of make it crispy. So I think that's the secret to using it.
We make I think I've mentioned it so many times, it's one of my favorite dishes we cook at home, but a sweet chili tofu ramen. And we roll the tofu in corn flour and then in sweet chili sauce. Ooh. Fry it off, and then it just sits on top of the broth once you've made everything else. But that corn flour gives it the crispiness. It's a really versatile ingredient to cook with. It's just learning how to flavor it right, because I completely agree, alone it tastes of nothing.
Yeah. Well, can I come to yours for dinner, please, when we're let out? Because you say all your dishes sound so good. I just love kind of Asian food.
I mean, I can't take all of the credit for cooking them. I am actually not really entitled to take hardly any credit for cooking them. That mostly goes to my partner. But yes, Holly, the vegan feast we shall be having with each other when we are finally allowed out of the confines of our own homes. Yay. It's going to be magnificent.
I can't wait. It feels like it's edging closer, doesn't it? Slowly but surely we're gonna get there. Well, thanks so much, Gabriella. Next up, I chatted to last week. I chatted to Mikey Pearce and Made in Chelsea's Verity Bowditch. They were really good fun to chat to, actually. So yeah, they have teamed up to launch a chain of sort of healthy-ish fast food, vegan fast food. So yeah, it's definitely worth a listen. So today I'm joined by Made in Chelsea's Verity Bowditch and YouTuber Mikey Pearce, who have come together to start up healthy vegan fast food chain Clean Kitchen. So how did you two meet?
I think we met at a party.
Yeah, was it a party? And then Instagram sort of took over. I feel like in lockdown, I was asking Mikey how like to do YouTube and actually how to do TikTok, because I wanted to like take my Pilates business like onto TikTok, and I did. I ended up getting a job with TikTok. So thanks for that, Mikey. I think that's how our relationship developed. And then
TikTok.
one thing.
And yeah, so and then obviously I started Clean Kitchen down in Brighton, and Verity being a vegan, and also, you know, very much interested in kind of the environment and all the ethoses of the brand. I think I asked you to share it a few times, and then because obviously being an influencer, you just got to, when you start a business, you've always got to hound anyone with a few followers. Please, can you share? Please, can you share? So I think Verity might have got a few of those messages, and then. Yeah, so I just think just obviously through like kind of, you know, going out and, you know a few of the same people and things like that. So that's how we kind of got meeting and things.
Back in the day when you could go to bars and pubs and restaurants.
Yes.
And
Yeah, way back when.
The good old days.
They will come again, I promise you.
That's it. This summer, we're hoping this summer we'll all be back.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So Verity, do you want to tell us about your journey? Because have you been a vegetarian your whole life?
Yeah, so was actually raised a vegetarian, which can be a little bit controversial. Occasionally I was given a little bit of fish for my amigas, but very rarely. But my dad actually still eats meat, which is very, one of those things. You got to respect everyone's beliefs. But yeah, my mum has been a vegetarian since she was about 20, I think, raised a vegetarian. And then at the age of about 6, I remember my mum going, do you actually want to be a vegetarian? Like, is this your own choice? And having grown up with like rescued sheep, and we had a donkey once, we had a goat. We've still got rescued sheep. I've had them my whole life, and dogs and cats and chickens. I've just developed this really like strong bond with, like they're like outside in my garden. I was like, definitely don't want to eat that. And I remember her explaining like, this is like, an animal, which I don't think at a young age many people, back when I was 7, got that education. So I used to come into school and start talking about it at a really young age. I remember the teachers being so perplexed at this young kid talking about like how around the dinner table that other people were eating animals. So yeah, that's where my main passion comes from being plant-based, is through my compassion towards animals, really connect with them. As I grew up, I was confused why everyone else was eating animals. And then my journey from like becoming vegetarian to going vegan, it did take me a long time. So my mum took me to the Centre of Alternative Technology when I was really young. And I remember learning about like the farming industry and like the contribution to being plant-based sustainability. So I had that on my radar from about 10 years old, which is crazy the way I'd been brought up. But yeah, so the main reason why when I went from vegetarian to being vegan is because of the animals. I used to cycle past this farm near my parents' house, and I just saw the calves trapped in those little cages that I didn't know existed. Mikey, you probably don't know they exist. So basically in the dairy industry, Mikey, these calves get taken away from their mothers. Like, it's quite a torturous experience, put in these little cages and separated from their mothers. I remember just cycling past it going, oh my gosh, and it made me trigger. I don't know what I'm doing here, like drinking. It wasn't so much drinking the milk, it was like in cheese that I'd eat. I'd cut out milk ages ago just for like nutritional value. And then I learned about the dairy industry, and I was like, I cannot support this. And as soon as I knew about it, that was a straight out cut for me. But the harder things were sort of eggs, which I didn't know too much about. But then as you educate and yourself and like you stay open-minded, that's when you sort of cut it out. But it's a journey. It took me a long time. It took me about 2 full years to become fully vegan. But yeah, I never thought I'd be fully vegan, actually, looking back on it, but so happy that I made that change, and it's definitely something I'm proud of.
So do your parents, because we had a little chat before we sort of started recording, didn't we, and realized that your parents, they run a farm, do they?
So it's like a little rescue animal centre. My mum does it. So like for my birthday, I got like a giant rescued cockerel called Hogan. It's honestly this big. It's from like, it's up to your like knee. It's huge, this cockerel. And I got Pumpkin for my birthday as well, our latest little sheep. And I've just been grown up around like, we'll have a little dinner party and she'll go, let's bring Lulu in. I'm like, no, don't bring Lulu in. And all of a sudden the sheep's in the kitchen. Remember, there's There's one time I was revising for my A levels, so ages. I was upstairs and I had this like, I was like, I'm home alone. Who's downstairs? I'm like, this is really bizarre. Went downstairs and our pony, Charlie Brown at the time, was in the dining room. And we looked at each other and I was like, what are you doing? Like, get out. Like, left the back door open. We're just like, it just shows the bond that we have with the animals and like how familiar they are with us. So,
yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, like I said, we had a quick chat, and it turns out that your parents are 10 minutes away from where I live. So
yes, I love that, Holly.
small world. So when did you move out of Dorset then?
When I went to university, so when I was 18, I went to London for uni. So I moved out. Still here.
So Mikey, how about you? When did you go vegan?
So I'm still completely learning. I'm learning every day. I basically, when I was down in lockdown, I was a big boy back in the day. I used to weigh around 18 to 19 stone. And when I was doing YouTube, I was much bigger. I sort of now 13 stone. So I lost about 5 stone. And it kind of I really do credit that to me cutting down on meat. But basically my mother got food poisoning from chicken, and obviously, being typical, I used to go out quite a lot and eat out quite a lot. I was quite a big meat eater. I used to devour a lot of food on Sundays if I was hungover or whatever. And then when I came down to Brighton, my mum started to introduce me into a plant-based diet. So she started giving me instead of bacon sandwiches, she would give me, this isn't bacon sandwiches. And then, for example, she would give me corn spaghetti bolognese and things like that. So it was through my mother and then through my training program that actually I found out the benefits of having a plant-based diet. And I still slip up. I'm open. I do still slip up now and again. Sometimes if anyone now and again, I just, because obviously have to be eating meat and my whole life and things like that. It's still, I'm learning every single day. And the likes of Verity tells me off now and again to eating, sometimes eating non-vegetarian, non-vegan gummy bears. And little things like that I still want. I don't eat red meat or anything like that now, but sometimes with cheese, if anyone brings out a cheese board, they're but just not thinking. And obviously every day is I'm getting better and I'm learning every day, and it's really kind of changed my perspective on life. And obviously with Clean Kitchen, I pretty much eat clean every day, so that helps having a vegan restaurant as you're educating and learning. But yeah, not the finished article yet, but getting there. Every month is closer to the step.
Yeah, I think with Mikey's sort of story, it just shows that at Clean Kitchen, we are inclusive to everyone. No one's perfect in life. Sometimes people slip up. So we want to make it quite clear that we just want to educate and encourage everyone to see the benefits of a plant-based diet, which Mikey does really well. We support everyone.
Exactly. I think it's not about just, suddenly going vegan overnight and being perfect for the rest of your life, is it? It's about,
it's hard, yeah.
It really can be hard. I think some people can do it like that, and other people it takes years. And like you say, that's fine. We need to support everybody, and even if they're just trying to cut down their meat intake a little bit, that's a step in the right direction.
That's what we try and always say with Clean. For me, it's very much the reason why I feel so passionate about it is, and obviously I've seen a massive improvement in my life and my happiness and everything like that, in terms of once I started to cut down on meat, started to think about what I was eating, what I was putting into my body and things like that, and actually looking at it and as a diet perspective, I no longer kind of feel bloated or anything like that. And I keep educating myself, and with Clean, we want to be look, just give it a go, be open to try different things, because a lot of people think, well, I'm not going to try or anything like that. But if you can just be open to try something, as I said, one of our vegan chicken burgers or anything like that, you're going in the right directions, because you might think, well, this is great, this is easy to do it, and then you start to educate yourself, and you open your eyes and you look into it more and you see all the benefits. So yeah, it's for us, it's we're not here to be everyone should go vegan right now. It's look, if you can cut down your meat consumption, if you can make little steps in the right direction, then we feel like we've done a good job with our company.
So what led you to set up Clean Kitchen then?
So I was kind of at a crossroads in my life. You very kindly introduced me as a YouTuber, but I was more of a former YouTuber back then. I kind of was doing YouTube for 3 years, Yeah, it was fun. It was it was a good time. We got to travel a lot and film different things with all your friends and everything like that. But it's kind of, you get distracted in London. You're partying and things like that, and living quite like a kind of a strange world, because you're getting up and filming these videos. You're making money from brand deals. You're not really doing too much work. And then obviously, you're kind of just you just have all your friends to do it, and you kind of lead like you don't really do too much. So I kind of finished doing YouTube around March time, and I opened another business, and it kind of got flattened by COVID. So I was at a crossroads. I went down to Brighton, my parents' house, and obviously that's when I started to go on my fitness regime. That's when my mum started to introduce me to a more plant-based diet, and I thought, well, maybe more people will get introduced to this. And then I met a vegan chef who basically introduced me to kind of different things and everything like that. And then I was like, well, let's start a brand. It's impacted my life, but then also I can maybe impact other people's life by making it easy, making it accessible, and make it, delicious for people who like myself.
It's a healthy fast food brand, isn't it? So how do you make fast food healthy?
Well, I wouldn't say a completely healthy. Obviously we have healthier options, and we don't say it's like, our burgers are healthy by any means, but we kind of say, look, our chicken burgers are lower in calories than the regular chicken burgers. We do actually have salads on our menu. We do have bowls and things like that. So I think that's where Verity is coming quite nicely, because obviously with Deliveroo and with the climate right now and with hospitality, it's tough out there, and obviously you're competing with lots of different things. We started very small with just burgers. And then obviously when we moved clean to London, and when Verity came on board as my co-founder almost, like I say co-founder because we really kind of changed direction with Clean Kitchen when Verity joined. And that's why I call her kind of co-founder, because we're very much like a team. But she was like, look, if I'm coming on board, I want to, one, make sure you're serious about kind of the changes you want to make in terms of with the environment. But two, another passion of mine is health and fitness. And it's like, look, I want to work with a nutritionist. I want to do these healthy bowls. I want to do these healthy wraps. I want to add some salads in, and we can be inclusive of everyone, because, burgers are great and it's good to have a burger once a week. But I want to promote to my audience and my people and be proud of the brand that also, is a healthier brand. So all of our bowls are, and Verity, you can maybe explain, but all of our bowls are designed by a nutritionist, and that is the healthy element. But also we're sort of saying, look, if you want a burger and if you're just still new to plant-based food, try one of our burgers, because they are good.
Yeah, I think the burgers are what get people. We go, right, you eat meat, you're a carnivore. Try this and tell us you can't taste the difference. Try this and say, oh, vegan food's rubbish, that there's not that many options out there, and like sort of put it down. And everyone who tries it absolutely loves it. But I think with our new bowls, that is the healthy direction of Clean Kitchen. And I feel like I've nailed eating a plant-based diet. I've done it my whole life. So I know that all the nutritious value need to get in there. I studied nutrition at university as well as part of my degree. So developing these new bowls with Emily, our nutritionist, they're so much better for you. And leading a plant-based diet, there's so many statistics out there, as you know, like you're less likely to have cancer, it reduces inflammation, all the polyphenols in fruit and vegetables, that source of antioxidants, it stops aging, stops inflammation, stops cell damage. Another one of my passions is sort of the cell biology behind it. So yeah, that's why we believe, plant-based diet is proven to be healthier for you than eating meats, and our new bowls, our new menu sort of wants to seize that.
So they're available on Deliveroo throughout London and Brighton still?
Yes, so we're reopening Brighton. We just stopped obviously with this lockdown because obviously it's as I said, with Brighton we opened all summer. We recently shut just before Christmas. We're reopening in March along with our Box Park site. But it's mainly in London on Deliveroo at the moment. But we just had our first. We had a meeting yesterday about our first flagship store. So we're going to all being well, fingers crossed, we're going to open our first Clean Kitchen. We have obviously a Box Park, which is semi-physical site, and we have like a little site in Brighton. But our first Clean Kitchen flagship, all being well, and if everything gets tied up, we'll be in Soho this summer. So it's very exciting for us. We got very excited yesterday.
We did. You have to come down, Holly. An actual clean restaurant. We're so excited about like the future of 2021.
It also has an alcohol license as well, which Verity's very excited about as well.
I'd love to. I'd love to just be able to leave the house at the moment.
I know.
But no, that'd be fantastic. So do you have plans to roll them out sort of, countrywide? Can I expect one in sort of deepest, darkest Dorset?
Yeah. Oh, Verity, you're desperate for Bournemouth, aren't you?
Yeah, well, Bournemouth is the perfect site, not too far from Dorchester. Yeah, it just really fits Bournemouth. So definitely something we're working on, isn't it, Mikey? We're talking about Berlin, Cape Town.
Yeah, so it's been quite exciting, obviously, to launch it just very small in Brighton and to see it grow into multiple sites, and actually to see people really enjoying our food and really, coming on the journey with the brand and creating kind of a community-esque on it, and obviously with that, you get more offers and things like that. And we've got, as I said, the flagship to open up, and then hopefully we want to franchise out into kind of multiple cities around the world almost. So we don't think small at Clean Kitchen. Me and Verity are quite similar in terms of we both have our goals where we want to hit, and we both don't believe there's a ceiling for clean, because obviously the introduction of plant-based food is not going to go away now. It's only going to get bigger, it's only going to get better. And I think with Clean, we feel we've got a brand that we're proud of, and Verity's introducing really, genuine schemes to make the brand a better brand, and also to be, look out for, the environmental issues and everything like that. So we think that we can scale it around pretty quickly. That we've already had a quite late discussions about opening a Berlin site as our site number 2, which will hopefully come just after to Soho, and that would be kind of our hopefully anyway, our first franchise, and then maybe potentially South Africa. And that's the goal anyway. We want to roll it around. Big. Yeah, we want to go big. I love LA. I'm a big fan of LA. I've always wanted to live in LA. And I said, that's when I know that I'm going to be super excited if we ever open a Clean Kitchen LA.
That's amazing. Aiming high.
V, you want Ibiza, don't you?
Oh yeah, can you imagine Clean Kitchen like Ibiza? I think for me, it's just the more countries we get it into, the more people we're educating and opening their minds to how amazing and delicious and how easy you can get vegan food. And for me, the more plant-based burgers eaten over real burgers, I'm doing my right thing. I'm winning.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, no, literally, it's like because obviously with there is 2 aspects of it. We want to put in great initiatives and everything like that, but then I've still got to look after my P&Ls and everything like that, and my budgets and things. So there's always constantly a thing where it's I'm looking at spreadsheets and I'm thinking, okay, right, we want to do this, we want to plant trees and everything like that, we want to raise a lot of money for charity, and then I've got Verity there going, Mikey, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to do this. So it's kind of quite a nice dynamic, because then obviously Verity, you care so passionately about. We're just doing a partnership with Compassion in World Farming, something you care really passionate about. And obviously we can't do this that often because we have staff and everything like that to pay. We've got to run a business, but we're doing all of our profits of a certain burger to Compassion in World Farming. And I said to Verity, I said, look, how badly do you want us to do this campaign? And she was like, Mikey, for me, this is not about all the money, everything. We are raising money for this charity. And I was like, okay, fine. This time we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And obviously we can take a little bit of a hit, but then we'd feel good about it. So that's there's always that balance there.
I love Compassion in World Farming. I follow them
on
Facebook. Yeah, and I donate to them.
You know it.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those charities that, you've got PETA, you've got all of these, amazing animal charities, but they're doing such a good cause that really goes under the radar. And I think it really reflects on Clean that we've chosen that charity to stop factory farming. So that if you're going to eat meat, we can't change everyone. Free range organic, read the labelling is something they're working on as well, Compassion World Farming, and just really getting the word out there how cruel it is, because people don't know, and it's no one's fault that they don't know. It's just people don't speak about it. So I'm glad you know about them.
Yeah,
we did a video on this, and my mother rang me after, and the only meat she eats is lamb. And my mum is the spitting image and the same person as Pam from Gavin and Stacey.
Oh, I love Pam.
Yeah. They're very, very similar. And she rings me up and goes, oh my God, Mikey, I can never eat lamb again. She's like, Verity is so lovely. That's such a nice video. And we've now turned my mum, because of Pumpkin, Verity's rescued meat, and she no longer will eat lamb. So, it's just little things like that. We just feel good. It's just nice to do, I guess.
But if I remember rightly, doesn't Pam pretend she's vegetarian and then hides behind a counter and eats a meat?
Yeah, that definitely be my mother. Don't worry, that is my mum.
You need to keep an eye on her.
I'll be cool.
We've covered factory farming a lot in this series of the podcast, and a lot of people have brought up the fact that it's kind of the next pandemic waiting to happen, and I think it's definitely a campaign to get on board with, because not only are millions, billions even of animals suffering every single day, it's gonna spread the disease, and we really don't want another pandemic, do we?
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think the RSPCA have been trying to stop live exports of animals for years. I think like 50 years. I think I saw it on The Crown. I was watching The Crown. I was like, what? They've been trying to stop live exports for that long? And we're still trying to do it. So it's a movement, and I hate the fact of live animals all being trampled on top of each other, going hours on journeys without any food and water. It's torture. And I see animals as humans. And not everyone doesn't. I know that. And people think I'm a little bit crazy sometimes. Dr. Doolittle, but yeah, that's another thing that Compassion World Farming are trying to do as well.
Yeah, well, it's great that you're sort of supporting these charities. Do you think that sort of people in privileged positions, such as yourselves and myself in a way, do you think we have a kind of duty to cut down on meat or even go vegan?
I know that I'm from a hugely privileged background, and I'm so lucky. Worked so hard though to get to this position, and Mikey has worked so hard to get clean to this position. But I think to have a real passion for the environment or compassion towards animals, it doesn't really matter your class or how privileged you are. If you've really got that passion, is inside of you. So like if you want to recycle, it doesn't cost anything to recycle. Food waste, eat all your food, don't waste anything. Small things like that, trying, be conscious of what you're buying. So it doesn't really matter, I think, what position you're in to that extent. But yeah, I think everyone's got a duty if you're passionate about it. And also, most of my diet is sort of lentils and pulses, which are so cheap. You can get them from any supermarket. I know some of like the artificial meat substitutes can be quite expensive, but Tesco do like the most amazing vegan sausages now, and they're cheaper than normal sausages. So I'm just happy that, the variety's out there now and it's accessible to everyone.
Yeah, it's definitely getting easier, isn't it? And places like Iceland are getting on board with it. They've got sort of fish fingers and cheaper meat replacements. So yeah. So obviously we're at the end of January now. This is our first podcast of February. Hopefully lots of the participants will sort of continue on their journey. What advice would you give for new vegans?
I would say don't give up, and also, for example, if you do slip up, then let it just be like, okay, fine, don't feel bad for slipping up. Be like, right, let's just get back on the bandwagon and get back to it. Because I think a lot of people go like, okay, they go, oh my God, I've messed up or whatever. I'm just going to go back to my old ways or anything like that. It is a slow process. So I think like little steps and baby steps and be open-minded about it, and then therefore you can, eventually you'll see the benefits. Eventually you can get there and build up slowly, because, as I said, if you're going all or nothing, it's tough. But there is ways of like slowly, changing things, swapping things, and slowly introducing it to it and learning more, educating it. So yeah, I think that's the same with me. Just don't give up. Keep going and keep benefiting from it.
What about you, Verity?
I think first of all, if you did the whole of January, well done. That is a huge achievement, honestly. Even Mikey slipping up eating his non-vegan sweets, didn't know about it. You're learning the whole time. You're like, oh, I didn't know that was vegan.
I know. I got done by that was a mistake though. I was doing so well. I got done by someone was like, oh, I did that. Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought they were. Someone told me they were vegan, and then obviously they weren't. But Verity was in the room as well. She was furious in the corner.
I wasn't furious. I was just, I want you to do so well this whole Veganuary thing. But you've almost done it, kind of.
Yeah, I've almost done it.
Woo! See, well done. That's impressive. I think just learn from your Veganuary experience, taking it into February. It's so easy to go, 1 month challenge done, and then let all the bad habits creep back into your life again. But learn what you found what made it easier for you? So was it stocking up your fridge with loads of amazing like vegan food so you didn't have the temptation of eating meat? Or was it like you're learning each week to make a new recipe? So I think just like learn from what helped you in January and continue that through February.
Lovely, thank you. So last question, if you could turn one person vegan, anyone in the world, who would it be?
I think before the election, Trump, but he's irrelevant now. So I think he yeah, literally, we don't want to even talk about him. But I think maybe like, I don't know. Someone, I don't know. Who would you say, Verity? Who would you one person?
Well, I've got two. First of all, my dad, so I don't have to come home and watch like animals being slaughtered on my own. Anyway, I was thinking someone with really good, someone who people look up to. So maybe someone like David Beckham, someone who think, oh yeah, he's healthy.
He went vegan, right? He went vegan. I think he
is vegan.
Well, he went for a month, or like he's getting there. I think obviously, like, you know, you want to go like maybe like Boris Johnson, if he became vegan, you know, go for the top. Why not? You know, because then therefore they would put in policies and things like that which would benefit you know, animals and everything like that. So I think you've got to go for politicians, right?
Politicians or someone who people.
Piers Morgan as well, right? You could do with him turning him vegan, right?
Definitely Piers, definitely Boris. We're challenging them to go vegan, even if it's just for a month.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Open your eyes. You know, open your eyes. Don't be narrow-minded to it.
Well, thank you so much for chatting to me today. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We were actually, you know, quite thrilled, to be honest. It's our first podcast together, Mikey.
Oh,
yeah, I know. Our first podcast. Love it.
So yeah, I look forward to visiting Clean Kitchen when we can, which will hopefully be spring, summer 2021.
We're aiming for June. So
okay.
Hopefully, Holly will be having a couple of clean margaritas outside the site on
oh my God.
in June.
That would be incredible. I'm just picturing it now with the sun on my face.
Yeah.
Oh, literally, that's what I do. We're quite big runners. We both run quite a lot, and I always visualize like opening that site and you know, in the sun outside. Verity, you got lost. You run off.
I'm just gonna put it on my Instagram if that's okay. Just get my phone.
No, so yeah, I always visualize opening that site in the summer outside with a nice clean gin and tonic.
Sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much, and yeah, take care. Thank you so much for listening to the Simply Vegan podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it on social media. Follow us on Instagram at Simply Vegan Podcast and at Vegan Food and Living. See you next week.